Artist appreciation time. You already know what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Ever since we did the last one, I've been kind of in a good mood, considering the fact that, well, one, we was able to help out a smaller artist and, you know, get them a bit more notoriety, which is always a good thing. But also at the very same time, they drew Blue, and Blue looks more like a punk than she ever has, and genuinely she just looks amazing. And I'm not gonna lie, it makes me want to see more people draw my characters in different art styles and all that sort of jazz. So I would very much like to see that in a near future. But when it comes down to it though, it just leads me to want to find even more other smaller artists as well, and try to see what we could cook up with an artist appreciation. Look at their work and see what's actually gas, right? And I got 3 of them this time, right? I usually try to stick with 2 because I don't want to overlap so many artists and, you know, try to have them all in one video, and then everybody kind of just be like, you know, maybe overlooking one artist to look at another and all that sort of stuff. But still, I feel like it's necessary sometimes to do it because there's, again, a lot of talent that is very much out there, a lot of unique talent that's very much out there, and I feel like they could appreciate a bit of a boost. I don't have that much on this channel to offer you, right? Especially if you're like an account with, like, I don't know, like over 10k. Honestly, I don't feel like I have much to give you, but I'm still gonna talk about your work anyway, because why not? And I feel like we should start out with somebody that's very much close to my heart, that literally knows how to cook with a certain character, and that's Yelladrill. They draw Big Titty Sage. They are the CEO of Big Titty Sage. There is nothing else that needs to be said. Literally, you don't know how bad I like seeing Sage with some big booba, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, they keep very much saying, why do you think I have her in Koikatsu looking the way she does half the time? Because Big Booba Sage slaps harder. I'm not gonna lie, like, there's a lot of times where I will not choose a lolly character to kind of come through and, you know, unlollify them in any shape or form. But when the OVI is there and it slaps hard and it's a fine ass gray looking Kudere, you bet your money that is absolutely worth a damn. And I do like the style of a lot of their work. It's, you know, looking very simple-ish, but at the very same time, it doesn't need to scream at you like, yes, this is the work. Here, I'm gonna beat you with a bat and a snake on the side. Like, it doesn't need to do all that, but it just gives you enough to kind of, you know, visualize, yeah, this is still the character, and yeah, this is still what they would, you know, be doing in this environment if I had control of everything. And that's just what it is. Sage just still look like Sage, and Sage looks even better than her actual in-game counterpart. I will say too that I do appreciate the dedication to the data counterparts of her, because obviously one of the big noticeable things about Sage as a character is literally all the red and black data stuff that kind of happens in her hair, her arms, and her legs and all that sort of stuff, looking like a data version of Skirk, if we're gonna be honest. But at the very same time though, that's a lot of intricate detail. You know, I drew Sage once, hated it because of that added detail that you gotta give her, because that's just how the character looks. But at the very same time, I can always appreciate a person when they decide to be like, yeah, we're gonna just drop a bit of this data stuff here and make it look pretty and nice, and there you go, that's your Sage right there. Also, to kind of add this note too, I feel like Sage is like one of those only characters where I feel like I won't ever really get tired of seeing anything new with them. One, because I don't really see a lot of people within the Sonic fandom kind of draw Sage and do anything with her in these sort of ways, so that's a bit of a shame. And the only thing that we obviously have is AI, which that's not necessarily a valid option in terms of, you know, actual goated sauce that we are looking for here. But even after looking through like a little bit of the months that this person has been drawing Sage and whatever, it feels like they've been improving their craft even by just a matter of months, which is a very good small amount of time. I really haven't seen anybody do that on these videos sort of yet, so that's really honestly kind of cool. So yeah, obviously if you like your Sage content and you like it to be some big titty on the side, definitely give Yelladrill a follow, because yeah, I'm not gonna stop liking Sage. There ain't no damn way. Next up on the list is Reinerox or Reinerox or Reinerox. I'm gonna call you Reinerox, or I might just need to call you just Rox just to be safe. But the one big thing and the one big reason as to why you here is because you drew Pain getting F'd, and that's literally all I ever needed to see. I'm not even joking you. Anytime I see somebody throw out some hand content, or anybody throw out a character that I really like to see a lot more content of and you do it very well, yeah, that's a good chance of you coming through. GG's, welcome aboard the train of all hyped. That's just kind of what it feels like. And yes, them cheeks are about round as all hell. I wish I could show you, but I literally can't. Off rip, I'm gonna just straight up compare this to another artist as well. And I feel like the art style that we have here kind of reminds me of Z Art, right? If y'all seen him before, which somebody that we do need to talk about on the show at some point in time too. But when it comes down to it though, it kind of reminds me of that style of artwork because of how like the image of the background kind of is, how the shadows kind of done, and all that sort of stuff too. It's just a bit less light when it comes down to it, like in terms of like a light filter across the board. It's a little less that, so the colors can actually just clearly pop through, and that's kind of what we get here. Also, this is gonna sound insanely random for a reason as to why I like some of these works here, and it's because of the eye, and not specifically the eye itself. It's the like edge of the eye with how the light kind of is and how it kind of is like, you know, looking that way it does. Most likely I zoomed in on it so you can see, but when it comes down to it though, I like that detail. I don't know why specifically, right? I know somebody might be like, so you like the eye detail, not the fact that the character is getting a pounding, but you're just liking the eye detail? Yes, I do. And to keep it very much intact, I like it because it's a small detail that you didn't need to add. You just did it just because you could, and it's nice when I see it. That's just what appeals to me. Again, anybody can very much look at an NSFW picture and say they appreciate it and call it a day, but I like to look at the finer details. When you know I'm talking about something, I like to look a little bit more. Sometimes I can't find it, but oftentimes when I do, I like to point it out because it's actually really nice and brings out the picture even better in the smallest ways as a whole. Also, just kind of taking a look too, they draw a lot of characters from something they call Brawl Stars, which I don't know exactly what that is, but I do like this chick. She looked kind of bad, not gonna lie. Kind of gotta, you know, put some meat down, because I feel like that's what you're trying to tell me here. We're not necessarily putting enough meat down for her to go ahead and consume. I might need to go ahead and throw my dang meat down just because. But overall, all of it really looks good. I'm not gonna lie. I would like to say though, if I could, I would like to see a bit more of like animated works, because they clearly have like something going on with that, even though I do know animation takes a little bit of time to kind of get that right. But still, if you could do that, that'd be actually fantastic. Who knows, maybe we could see, I don't know, like a bouncing pan in the same exact way, or maybe in some shape and form a bit differently. Who really knows? But still, overall, it looks mad good, and again, very much you should definitely follow this person as well. And the last artist I do want to talk about today is another one called MyLooseyLucy. I don't know why that tripped me out so much to say that, but it kind of did. Tripped me out a lot more than the last name of the last artist that we talked about. But when it comes down to it though, cakes. That is it. It's like an unspoken rule when it comes to NSFW art. For whatever reason, you must be able to draw cake in a very delicious way, because if you don't, somehow you a bum. You looking like a mad Goofy. I don't know why, but you are said Goofy. Their style also kind of feels like they're keeping it simple, not necessarily trying to overly do too much outside of, you know, the facial expressions of the characters and, you know, a little bit other details in there, but they're not really like being like overly flashy with it or anything like that. They keep their lines to a minimal, right? Like, it's not necessarily like very thick heavy lines to, you know, indicate, yes, this is the border of the character, this is the extra weight of the character. But no, they keep the lines very small and kind of out the dang way. And when they go in on their drawings, they absolutely go in. Like, even Megan with her robotic fine ass, somehow she's still looking mad good and kind of like a sassy ass little brat who most definitely might need some corrections down the line. Also, the way they kind of go about the expression of some of these characters, and when it comes down to the lollies too, I often usually see like a lot of artists, you kind of go all over the place with their expressions and do whatever, but I'm getting more brattier vibes when it comes to how they kind of do it than really a lot of other people, how they go about it. Like, Toph does not need to look this bratty here. Even Kana somehow looks bratty as shit, even though she is literally just standing there. Also, I do say Kana is just standing there, but she has so much ass in the back that we cannot see. When it comes to their work too, just to really add in the home of just straight up just like, yeah, again, every artist must focus on the cheeks of the character because that is just the sauce. That is how you know they're an artist, by a degree of assology. Because literally every single other lolly that's within this damn like whole spectrum of artwork that they have is literally cheeked up in all shapes and forms. I don't understand again why. I don't understand why this is a thing for every artist to do, but at the very same time, I'm not mad at it. If Toph fat ass ends up just literally sitting on my damn face, that sounds like an excellent time to me. She blind, she ain't gonna know what needs to happen, so I can just do all the things I need to without any sort of hesitation, right? That's just ultimately how it is, because why the hell not? You don't need to have an overly flashy style to kind of show out or showcase that your ability is that good or anything like that. You can have looking some of the most simplest looking styles, but in reality it actually could also be very intricate. But still, nonetheless, you can have some of the styles that don't be overly flashy, don't use a lot of lines and all that sort of stuff, and still ends out being really dang good. And that's what makes styles so dang good. It's just like you don't know what you're gonna get with each different artist that you go through and look at, but at the end of the day, they're always gonna bring something different and unique to the table that's very much real to them, and I very much like that. Something that, again, at least as of yet, AI can't fully absolutely do with its absolute certainty, and if it does, they do it way too dang perfect, which robs of the actual experience of drawing it yourself. So there's very much that. But yeah, ultimately, that is all the artists that I have for you today. Follow each and every one of them, get them up to a higher number please, because they really do be cooking out here, and they very much do deserve a bit more than what they've been getting. If anything, that's what I've been taught with all these smaller artists, right? Somebody needs to give them a hand, and I'll be more than happy to do so, because I know what it feels like to be ignored. It's not fun, it sucks ass, and if I can help out with that, I will. But when it comes down to it though, that's literally all I have for you for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow my socials, and if you like the channel, Kofi Cash App is available as well. And until then, boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.